Hello, I'm Keith Ford and welcome to another edition of From the Vault. Today we're coming to you from Rock Island Auction House and I'm here with my buddy Steve Ostrem. And today we have a very unique piece, the Luger 1902 carbine. Starting in the late 1890s, Georg Luger refined the Brownells pistol. It was elegant and it was made of some of the finest materials available. It was styled right, the 55-degree angle fit good in the hand, and just everything hit on the Luger and become one of the most popular handguns of all time. Around 1900, it was introduced in 30 Luger, 7.65, and then in 1902, they upped it to the regular 9mm. In 1906, they changed a little bit in the safety, and in 1908, which became the P08, which was the standard service handgun of Germany until the P38 took over. Now this one right here in itself is rare, being a 1902 carbine, but what makes it even more rare is right here is that this belonged to Hiram Stevens Maxim, the inventor of the machine gun. Georg Luger personally oversaw production and manufacture of this gun right here. Hiram Maxim was a U.S. citizen living in the United States and was working on several different projects, electricity, light bulbs, different kinds of things like that, and it become to a point where him and Thomas Edison were going head to head, come to a point where Edison finally paid him to go leave the country. And while he was over in Europe kicking around different things, Maxim was thinking different stuff to do, what different ways to come up with money, and a buddy of his told him that if you want to make money, invent something that the Europeans could cut their own throats with, thus become the Maxim machine gun. Maxim appreciated very good designs, eccentric designs, and Luger was one of those. As you can see right here, HSM Hiram Stevens Maxim, 1903, March 15th, 1903. This is produced by DWM. And back here you can see Georg Luger's personal engraving. So Luger oversaw the production of this for his friend Hiram Stevens Maxim. You can take a look, fine straw right here on the selector, safety selector. Takedown lever right here, the magazine catch, the grip safety, how it actuates right here. Roll this over, strawing on the trigger, strawing on the ejector, and the strawing on the extractor. And also the fire bluing on the grip screw right here. These had a wood bottom on the magazine, and the sight was calibrated to basically like 300 yards. The stock still has the strawing on the lever for the takedown. Then this would slip over here and lock on right there. Now in the Gun Control Act of 1934, this was considered a short-barreled rifle. So this has been modified just a little bit to make it where the stock wouldn't lock on, to avoid the $200 tax or becoming a felon since it hadn't been registered. Thankfully, these are now on the curio and relic books and have done away with having to deface the stock lug. But unfortunately for the ones that have been altered, it's kind of hard to go back to fix that. But right here, this is one of the most amazing Lugers I've ever held in my hand, just thinking that it belonged to Hiram Stevens Maxim, who was also the father of Hiram Percy Maxim, father of the silencer. So really cool stuff.
A lot of history there. And this is, except for the stock cut there, this is about 98%.
Yeah.
After all these years, there's very little wear and tear on this gun at all.
Yeah, that wasn't one that he would have took out and shot a whole lot.
This is a good example of what they could crank out when they wanted to. It hasn't been redone, it hasn't been messed with. It's just nice.
Beautiful rust bluing. I mean, all the hours and the time that went into manufacturing the Lugers.
Yep.
It's just amazing.
All that gold inlay. Very nice. You don't see many of these.
No. Luger carbines are hard to come by.
Just the standard Luger carbines.
Yeah. The 1902 and Hiram Maxim's gun is just kind of mind-blowing to me. Just that it made it here and we're able to look at it and give you a video on it.
And that's in 7.65 Luger.
Yes, 30 Luger.
With the safety, the grip safety.
Yes, grip safety, the 1902 model.
Which the Germans didn't pick up the grip safety, right? The
No.
Swiss did.
Yeah, Swiss did.
Yeah.
Swiss,
Not in a carbine, of course, but
Right.
in the standard Luger.
Standard Luger. The P08, 1908, whenever they finally did away with the safety on
Yeah.
there. And that was
Yeah.
whenever the German army adopted the Luger.
And how many variations of Luger are there again?
Oh, there's thousands of them. Carbines, navies, artilleries.
Every country had its
Every-
own.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Mauser. They'd make the rifles any way you like.
Yep. And thing is, with the Luger, there was a lot of people that would knock them, saying that they wouldn't feed right, they wouldn't shoot good, stuff like
Yeah.
that. But mainly, they were dealing with parts guns that had been
Right.
messed with and stuff. But the Luger, honestly, was one of the most accurate handguns ever made. And even Elmer Keith tested to that. And he was a big revolver man, but he loved Lugers.
You couldn't always get good 9mm ammunition
Right.
back in the day, too, because it was a rare caliber at one time
Mhm.
here.
And thing is, with Lugers, you have to have a high-powered cartridge to
Yeah.
actuate the toggle action on it.
Yep.
So there's a whole lot going on. The frame, lock frame up here, sliding back a little bit. The toggle, the knee kicking back. It takes an awful lot of power to get those going.
Yeah, the Browning designs are much more tolerant. You know,
Mhm.
if you take a 1911 style or a Radom or a Browning high power,
Yeah.
they'll shoot most anything, but these things got to have premium ammo every
Yep.
time.
And another thing about the Luger, there was more countries that adopted that as their official handgun for the militaries than any other handgun out there.
Yeah.
And
Now,
there,
I read somewhere there was a special load for the carbines in 7.65.
I
A little
believe so,
hotter
a
than
little
the
hotter,
normal.
yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise you're not going to move all that.
right. Right.
Because
It
this
takes-
has to move back
Yeah.
just a little bit before that knee breaks.
Yep. They're
That's
just
quite a thing.
an amazing amount of work that went into these, and the technology at the time was just way ahead of the game.
It's just a nice marriage of wood and metal there.
Yeah.
Everything is right where it belongs. And the engraving tells the story on
Mhm.
this one. A rare gun made even rarer.
Yeah.
It's a shame about the stock.
Yep. But that's the way it was back then.
Yeah, nothing you can do.
Yep. All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed this episode of From the Vault, and thank you for watching. And thanks to the folks here at Rock Island Auction House for having us out and letting us to peruse all their fine handguns and rifles and machine guns. Be sure to tune in again whenever we bring another gun from the vault.